And we are recording. Welcome, everyone. This is your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. First of all, this channel is proudly partnered with the What the Funk shop. Please check out their store for all sorts of products. They have dice, miniatures, game master screens, home decorations, and many other things. You will find the link in the description and in the pinned comment, and make sure that you use my code for a special discount. Tonight, I wanted to talk about the first part of the Asteria campaign using the Quicken Classic system. An amazing session. And I wanted to point out a few things related to party dynamics that I really enjoyed. I was just talking with my friend Full Metal Josh. Let's call him that because I also have my other friend, Beyond Fantasy Josh. So I was talking with Full Metal Josh on something that I observed as a game master when I ran the session yesterday. Was it yesterday? Uh-huh. The party dynamics, it was very interesting how the five players divided themselves into particular party forces, I would say. In the case of Beyond Fantasy Josh and Derek, they represented like a protector caregiver sort of out of combat protector caregiver sort of section or segment of the party. They were always looking out for the other members of the group. Although this is not to say that this is absolute. For example, in the case of David and Giovanni, they had their characters protect the other members during combat. In the case of David, he helped Josh getting into combat ready with his shield and the sword. But in the case of Derek and Josh, Beyond Fantasy Josh, playing their respective roles as the Reisha, the swordswoman, and Baron, the elf that was plagued by dreams and visions. They were constantly trying to help, accommodate, assist the others when they fought the monstrous lizard with. Of course, this is going to contain spoilers for the that part. If you haven't seen it, please check it out. The link will be in the description of this video. When they fought that lizard with heads that were actually human heads, Reisha used her tactics, elbowing, cutting with her sword, throwing dirt into the eyes of the heads of the creature, while Josh was constantly moving about, trying not to get into the way of the others, waiting for that moment to strike from the flank with his sword. They worked in great harmony, and they represented that sort of like an support, assisting force. In the case of Munin, controlled by Giovanni, and Odo, played by Dave. No, I'll get to David in a few moments. It was Munin and Peter, the thief, controlled by Sam. They were like the detectives of the group. In the case of Sam playing as Peter, and it plays out with Peter's background of being as a sort of librarian. He was always looking for clues, for the small details. And in the case of Munin, played by Giovanni, he was constantly aware of the natural world. He was the guide, the tracker, pretty much the ranger, and it just goes to show that you can play a paladin that is more attuned with the natural world. He was playing the crusader class, but a very different type of crusader. He was not a more civilized crusader. He relied more on a shamanistic view, more in tune with the wilderness. And I really enjoyed it. Both of them discovered many clues, but I really enjoyed when Giovanni noticed that difference of the time of death of the corpse and the wounds inflicted. That pretty much, well, it depends. It depends on many things, but that could have been the death of Baron and Peter. I think they were the two wounded ones. Beren and Peter, I think so, because they suffered those bites. The supernaturally fast necrosis was already setting in. So imagine if they were in the middle of a fight, and they failed their resistance check, and then they took a wound. They would have been almost dead. And if the enemy got at least one point of damage in, it would have been the end for them. But thanks to Munin's quick thinking, through the actions of Giovanni, by Giovanni playing the role of Munin, he managed to identify that soon enough. Now, in the case of David playing as Odo, in the case going back to Josh and Derek, like I said, they were like the supportive arm. In the case of Munin and Peter, they were like the investigative force, always paying attention. They were also quite vicious in battle, but they were always keeping an eye out for those details on the ground, in the distance, the contradictions of the clues that they found. Now, when it comes to Odo, he was the anchor. He was constantly directing the others towards the objective. So it felt like he was the center, directing the others, while each of the other two parts of the party, the supportive and investigative power, they played their part in order to achieve that survival. So overall, great party dynamics. It made me think of a pair of wings, the supportive wing, the investigative wing, and at the center, what held them together was Odo, pushing the group towards the quest, the objective, always. So great job on the part of everyone. Excellent session, excellent roleplay. We even integrated the errors of roleplay into the fiction. And that's how you should do it, because once something happens in the fiction, it stays there. It has manifested in the fiction. So once again, I can't wait to play the next part, which should happen in 2 weeks. Thank you to everyone, and thank you again to all of the participants, to Beyond Fantasy Josh, to Derek, to David, to Sam, to Giovanni. And thank you so much to those of you that are going the extra mile to support the channel. If anyone else wishes to further support the channel, consider joining as a member using the super thanks button, like, subscribe. Take a look at the information in the description, the pinned comment. This has been your host, Abraham L. Jaguar, a professional game master. And remember, roleplay solves everything. Once again, thank you and see you later.